Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we carefully unravel the intricate threads of royal life, focusing today on moments that define resilience, grace, and unwavering devotion. In this episode, we delve into a profoundly significant public appearance by the senior members of the British royal family, an outing that transcended ceremony and tradition to deliver a powerful message of unity and strength in the face of private adversity. Today, we explore the deeply moving narrative woven during the solemn observance of Remembrance Sunday, with special attention to Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Through subtle yet poignant gestures, she conveyed her steadfast loyalty and emotional fortitude, standing quietly but firmly beside her husband, Prince William, as he appeared shoulder to shoulder with his father, King Charles III. This was far more than a customary royal appearance. It was a visual statement of solidarity, a moment that affirmed the family's collective resolve following what can only be described as one of the most turbulent and testing periods in recent royal history. Before we examine every detail, every expression, every movement, and every unspoken message captured on that day, please take a moment to show your support, like this video, subscribe for continuous royal insights, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the life and legacy of the House of Windsor. The stage for this defining royal moment was set against a backdrop of intense internal turmoil. For months, and arguably years, the family had been contending with the lingering fallout of Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor's controversies. His repeated associations with scandal and the unrelenting scrutiny that followed had cast a heavy shadow over the institution, inflicting a level of reputational damage described by insiders as nothing short of shameful. The pressure to restore dignity, demonstrate moral clarity, and reaffirm public confidence was immense, both within the United Kingdom and across the Commonwealth. That is why the collective appearance of the working royals on the 9th of November carried such weight. It was not a mere calendar obligation. It was a deliberate act, a strategic comeback, carefully orchestrated to project composure, unity, and a renewed sense of purpose. The Remembrance Sunday service at the cenotaph offered the ideal setting for this mission. It is one of the monarchy's most solemn annual duties, a day dedicated entirely to honoring those who sacrificed their lives for the nation. The gravity of this event naturally silences distractions and refocuses attention on duty, continuity, and national identity. This sacred site, etched into the collective heart of Britain, demands dignity and reverence. On this occasion, it also served as the perfect stage upon which the royal family could momentarily set aside private pain and present a united front before the watching world. The positioning, roles, and conduct of each senior royal on that day were far from arbitrary. Every placement carried symbolic and hierarchical significance, reflecting the structure, endurance, and purpose of the monarchy itself. The traditional act of laying wreaths remains one of the most solemn duties in the royal calendar, reserved for the most senior male members of the family and those entrusted with upholding the monarchy's long-standing ceremonial customs. Leading the procession with deliberate grace and gravitas was His Majesty King Charles III. Following closely behind, affirming both his role as heir and his growing influence within the institution, was Prince William, the Prince of Wales, a symbolic embodiment of the monarchy's future. They were joined by the Duke of Edinburgh, a quiet yet steadfast figure whose dedication to royal duty continues to echo the service-minded legacy of his late father, Prince Philip. Further emphasizing the theme of continuity, wreaths were also placed by equerries representing the late Queen Elizabeth II and the Duke of Kent, bridging the sacrifices of the past with the renewed commitments of the present generation. Every detail of this ceremonial arrangement spoke volumes. The choreography itself was a visual timeline. The monarch, the heir, and the enduring support of the extended royal line, unified by purpose and tradition. While the male royals performed the physical act of remembrance at the cenotaph, the royal women played an equally vital role from a vantage point steeped in symbolism. From the balcony of the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, three figures stood in quiet solidarity: Queen Camilla, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. This traditional division of roles, where the royal ladies observe from above, offers the public an intimate glimpse into the emotional undercurrent of the monarchy. Those subtle gestures and expressions that often communicate more than words ever could. And on this particular November morning, following weeks of royal turmoil and media speculation, all eyes turned inevitably to the Princess of Wales. This year's Remembrance Sunday held particular weight for Catherine. It marked her first major public appearance since the explosive controversies surrounding Prince Andrew had reignited across global headlines. The nation watched with keen curiosity. How would the future queen carry herself amid such personal and institutional turbulence? What unspoken messages might be conveyed through her bearing, her gaze, or her silence? As the woman destined to be the next queen consort, every aspect of Catherine's demeanor during public crisis becomes a barometer of the monarchy's emotional state. According to renowned body language expert Judy James, Catherine's composure was nothing short of masterful. Her analysis described the princess as adopting a posture of absolute control and authority, asserting herself visually as the central stabilizing presence on the balcony. James noted that Catherine appeared the dominant royal figure in that moment, not through overt gestures or expression, but through a quietly commanding stillness. She stood tall, motionless, and perfectly aligned, her gaze fixed forward in unwavering focus. This deliberate restraint was not passive. It was a choice, a statement of resilience in the context of both the solemn ceremony and the turbulence surrounding the royal household. Catherine's immobility projected one clear message: stability endures. Her face carried the appropriate solemnity demanded by the occasion, but beneath it, James observed an unmistakable glimmer of internal strength, the calm center around which the monarchy now appears to revolve. She was, in every sense, the embodiment of stoicism, the necessary anchor in a sea of chaos. This highly disciplined poise fulfilled two essential purposes. First, it paid the deepest respect to the fallen whose sacrifices the day commemorates. Secondly, and perhaps most importantly from the standpoint of royal image and public relations, Catherine's immaculate composure positioned her as the unshakable face of duty. She appeared utterly impervious to the swirling storms of controversy that had recently engulfed the family. In that moment, she embodied the timeless British mantra, "Keep calm and carry on." While Catherine maintained her posture of poised solemnity throughout the main portion of the ceremony, the truly revealing moments, the ones that spoke of private emotion and mutual support, emerged during the transitions. A particularly poignant instance, captured by observant cameras, unfolded as Prince William completed his ceremonial duties and began to retreat from the cenotaph, following just behind his father, King Charles III. It was here, in this fleeting yet deeply human instant, that Catherine allowed her stoic mask to soften. According to body language expert Judy James, as William passed into view, Catherine's expression subtly transformed. The tension in her face eased, her eyes softened, and a barely perceptible warmth emerged, a look that communicated quiet pride and profound support. In the high-stakes environment of royal duty, where even the smallest gesture is dissected and interpreted, this brief softening spoke volumes. It was a wordless acknowledgement between husband and wife, the future queen to the future king. "I see your duty, and I honor your strength." The most intimate exchange, however, came just moments later, as the service drew to a close and Prince William disappeared from public view, re-entering the historic building after fulfilling his solemn responsibilities. Catherine's composure shifted once more. For the briefest moment, she permitted herself what Judy James described as a specifically aimed, dimpled smile of approval and reassurance. That phrase, specifically aimed, is crucial. It was not a generic public smile for the cameras. It was a directed, personal signal, one of unconditional encouragement and affection, exchanged silently across the ceremonial divide. This small, private gesture encapsulated the very essence of their partnership, duty balanced by devotion. It was a reminder that behind the royal protocol and centuries of expectation lies a marriage built on mutual respect, trust, and shared resilience. In a moment defined by military formality and stoic reverence, that smile humanized the monarchy. It reminded the watching world that beneath the weight of titles, the future king and queen remain a couple, united, steady, and deeply attuned to one another. Yet, as moving as the public display of unity appeared, events unfolding behind palace walls paint a far more complicated picture. In the days surrounding the ceremony, reports emerged of a significant and unexpected personal change within the lives of the Prince and Princess of Wales. The couple, according to multiple credible sources, relocated to their new residence, Forest Lodge, much earlier than originally planned. At first glance, such a move might seem routine, perhaps even trivial. But the timing, the urgency, and the circumstances surrounding it have ignited a series of astonishing rumors, some of which, if proven true, could alter the near-term trajectory of the monarchy itself. In recent weeks, a quietly circulating but increasingly persistent rumor has begun to gain momentum in royal and media circles, one that, if true, would mark a historic and unprecedented shift in the inner workings of the monarchy. According to these reports, the Prince and Princess of Wales have allegedly been approached by the highest levels of palace authority with an extraordinary request, a directive to step back from certain high-profile duties. To be absolutely clear, this is not a suggestion of abdication or withdrawal from the line of succession. Rather, it is said to be a carefully considered request for a temporary reduction in public visibility, or a strategic realignment of their roles. And the reason, all roads, it seems, lead back to the continuing scandal surrounding Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor. Sources suggest that the palace, facing mounting international scrutiny and the seemingly endless echo of negative headlines, may have concluded that the only viable path to restore the monarchy's image is to starve the scandal of oxygen. By subtly reducing the public presence of its most visible members, William and Catherine, the institution could, in theory, create a deliberate void in the royal news cycle, depriving the media of contrast between the dutiful heirs and the disgraced Duke. The strategy, while extreme, would aim to suffocate the narrative that continues to tarnish the royal brand. If such a request was indeed made, its gravity cannot be overstated. To ask the future King and Queen, two of the most beloved and reliable figures within the royal fold, to intentionally scale back their engagements at a time when the monarchy relies heavily on their popularity and stability, speaks volumes about the depth of reputational damage caused by the past decade's controversies. For William and Catherine, this would represent not only a professional dilemma, but a profound personal trial. Their royal lives have been built on visibility, duty, and constancy, the very qualities that define their public appeal. Their early move to Forest Lodge may therefore take on new significance. What might initially have appeared as a simple logistical relocation could, in this context, be interpreted as preparation for a recalibration, a quieter period designed to regroup, reassess, and reposition themselves for whatever lies ahead. The juxtaposition between the outward display of unity at the cenotaph on November 9th and the whispered speculation of a possible retreat behind palace walls creates a fascinating paradox. Was the show of solidarity between King Charles, Prince William, and the Princess of Wales an expression of serene confidence, or was it, perhaps, a necessary and calculated performance of stability ahead of a quieter phase of strategic withdrawal? Such questions underscore the immense pressure the royal family faces as it attempts to modernize, recover, and redefine its purpose in a world that watches every gesture with forensic scrutiny. As we conclude this detailed analysis, it becomes clear that the events of November 9th were far more than a traditional act of remembrance. They reflected, in miniature, the central struggle of the modern monarchy, balancing unyielding duty with the crushing realities of reputation management in the age of global media. We witnessed King Charles, Prince William, and the senior royals fulfilling their sacred obligations with dignity and precision. Yet beneath that public ceremony lay the quiet emotional strength of Catherine, Princess of Wales, whose silent resolve spoke louder than words. Body language expert Judy James affirmed that Catherine's composed stillness and her small, precisely timed, dimpled smile toward her husband conveyed more than affection. They symbolized an unbreakable alliance, a shared resilience upon which the stability of the future reign may well depend. This fleeting exchange of pride and support was not just a moment of marital tenderness. It was a microcosm of monarchy itself, duty balanced by devotion, formality softened by humanity. It reminds us that while the crown may be heavy, its endurance rests not only upon ceremony or tradition, but upon the strength of the relationships that sustain it. And yet, despite the outward show of unity and resolve, the whispers behind palace gates refuse to fade, Persistent speculation continues to suggest that even the immense popularity, discipline, and tireless devotion of Prince William and Princess Catherine may not be sufficient to insulate the monarchy from the echoes of its past scandals. The notion that the couple, the very embodiment of modern royal stability, might have been asked to temporarily step back in order to divert the world's gaze from Andrew Mountbatten. Windsor's long shadow introduces a dramatic and unsettling dimension to the narrative. If true, it transforms what might appear to be a simple domestic relocation to Forest Lodge into a potentially strategic maneuver, executed at a delicate juncture for the monarchy's reputation. The path before the Prince and Princess of Wales is defined, as ever, by duty and service. But it is also fraught with strategic complexity. They must balance the ceremonial dignity of the crown with the relentless realities of media scrutiny and the fallout from family controversies that continue to test the institution's resilience. Their challenge is twofold: to maintain the image of an unbreakable partnership while managing the evolving demands of a monarchy in transition. Their ability to project composure, unity, and quiet authority, even amid potential internal recalibrations, will determine not just their own public standing, but the tone and stability of the monarchy for years to come. We now turn to you, our insightful audience. Do you believe the palace would truly request that the future king and queen step back from active duty in order to contain a public relations crisis? And what do you make of Catherine's quiet gesture of pride, that subtle but unmistakable sign of love and solidarity in the face of such immense pressure? Could this moment offer us a rare glimpse into how their marriage, built on mutual respect and shared responsibility, sustains them through the heaviest burdens of royal life? Share your thoughts, interpretations, and perspectives in the comments below. We read and value every one of them. Thank you, as always, for joining us in this in-depth exploration of the House of Windsor. If you found this analysis illuminating, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the ever-evolving story of the British royal family. Until next time, thank you for watching and for being part of our growing community of royal watchers and thoughtful observers.